people are acting on a whole nother level on that. So can't wait to see that karma train coming through. Choo-choo. Mood of the day. Really? You gotta give us more credit than that. Some people, buckle up, buttercup. When someone shows you who they are, believe them. Welcome back, everyone, to Mona's Take. I am your host, Mona Rose, and we are here to talk about everything reality TV. If you haven't already, please like and subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss anything I have coming up. I want to welcome all my new subscribers. Thank you to each and every one of you guys. I appreciate all of you. And I'm looking very forward to seeing where this goes. I'm going to be all over the place right now for this recap. There is so much to take in. My notes are everywhere. I'm going to try to do as little editing as possible, but we'll see where that may lead to. I found tonight's episode rather interesting on a lot of fronts. One high is vegan. Now, he expected to have rice, and everyone says, well, how can you go on these shows? You know that you're going to be malnutritioned. You know you're not going to have this or that, whatever. These players did not see last season. They have not seen Survivor 41. They had no idea they would not get rice. I still find this hard to believe that they're just throwing them out there in the wilderness without any food. But it seems to be pretty real. I don't know. Tonight they found some hermit crabs, and Hai had to make a decision whether he was going to eat and keep up his strength or whether he was going to not eat and keep up his morals, because he's vegan. He doesn't believe in eating animals. He loves all animals. But I'm sorry, if it comes down to not having anything to eat, I think my morals would take a back seat on that one. As you can tell, I like my food. So this is going to be unique to see how he handles being out there. The scene with Omar and his tribe tonight made me realize what it is, or one of the many reasons that I love Survivor. You get to see people from all walks of life, all different cultures, all different beliefs, come together and teach each other about their life, their culture. Seeing Omar and Jonathan and all the tribe talk about Omar being Muslim, and he said, if you have any questions, I'm here to answer whatever questions that you may have. And Jonathan says yes, and I feel the same way about Christianity. If you have any questions, anything you want to talk about, well, I'll help you out. And then Lindsay, bless her heart, says that, how did she put it, that she was Jewish, but she wasn't good with it, so they probably knew more than she did. Which just told me that she's Jewish, but she doesn't follow the Jewish faith. But, like I said, seeing people come together from all walks of life and teaching each other about their religions and their lifestyles and their cultures without all the stereotypes that sometimes are associated with that is a blessing. Drea was one of my people that I had picked to go very far in this game. However, tonight she made, in my opinion, a crucial error. You never tell someone that you have an advantage or an idol or anything else. If I were to ever play Survivor, no one would know what I have. You don't trust anyone in the game. Not let alone that they're on day 5. They don't even know each other yet. But she thinks that she's going to make this big power move and get the girls aligned together to get out the boys. So she tells them that she has an extra vote and that the girls need to stick together and vote out the guys. Swati says that sounds good to her. Tori said that sounds good to her. As soon as Drea turned around and walked off the beach, Swati says she knows how to pull people in. She knows how to get people on her side. And she has an advantage. She's dangerous. We need to vote her out. And Tori said, I'll do whatever you want. I'm following you. That was the quickest girls' alliance in the history of Survivor, I believe. Like, she literally did not have her back turned before they're talking about voting her out. Thank God they didn't go to tribal council. But we'll get to that. But I'm like, why are you telling people what you have? I don't get it. Then we go on to Mike. Mike finds an idol. It's the triple idol, whatever, where they have to say a saying, and all three tribes have to find their idol and say these sayings before they're activated, and it's actually a immunity idol. So until it's activated, number one, he doesn't have a vote, and he's not going to know if anybody else has found it unless he hears a different phrase other than what he got. I think this had something to do with the fact that soccer is such a great sport that it makes him cry or something to that effect. So you see him, he finds the idol, he reads it and figures out what he's got to do and everything. And then he does something that was shocking to me. He reburied it. Found a tree and buried it instead of keeping it on his person. What does he do? The first thing he does is he gets diarrhea of the mouth. He goes and he tells Jenny and says, oh, she's my number one. I've got to tell her. And then turns right around and tells Daniel. There's what, 5 people on your tribe? You've already showed the majority of your tribe that you have this idol. I'm just like, make this make sense to me. I mean, I'm used to the old day Survivor. Nobody knew you had crap till you used it. And it was a good blindside. Or it was a good made-for-TV moment. You know, nobody knew it. You just blindsided them with this idol. And they thought you were going home. And now you're not going home. There's none of that anymore. None of it. They don't even have to look for the idols anymore, basically. Yeah, I guess they do have to look for it, but it's not valid once they find it until all 3 tribes, someone in all 3 tribes has found it. So then he goes back to show Daniel that he's found this idol. He can't find it. He can't find where he buried it. All the trees are starting to look like. You can't make this up, people. I still don't like this twist. I do not like the fact that you have to announce a phrase that someone on each one of the tribes are going to announce. You have the summit where people are going and they're getting to talk when they're going to this island. If they get together and they say, well, you know why such and such said this phrase? It's because he has an idol. Well, then they're going to go back and they're going to vote him out. It's just too much. You got to hold everything inside. When it comes to these idols and these advantages, don't tell anyone. Mike eventually finds it. He shows Daniel. Daniel tells him that his best bet is to not activate it right now. And I'm thinking, why in the world would Daniel not want him to activate it? And it's because Daniel's thinking that if Mike doesn't activate it, then the other 2 that are found are going to be worthless. Because what's the rule? All 3 of them have to be activated for them to be any good. For them to actually turn into an idol, they have to all 3 be activated. So if Mike doesn't activate his, the other two are dead. Now, this episode, he made it through. Mike didn't say his little spiel to activate his idol. So I'm wondering, is he ever going to? Or is Daniel going to be able to persuade him not to use this advantage? And how? And if he does, Mike deserves to go home. If he is that ignorant to what is going on, he doesn't need to be on that island. He needs to go home. That's my 2 cents, my opinion. We saw the little bromance between Omar and Jonathan. I thought that was so cute. And Jonathan, I wanted to not like him at the beginning. I thought he was just going to be this brawn surfer dude. But he is actually pretty funny. I like the fact that he owned up to the fact that he had strengths that Omar didn't have, and that he had weaknesses that Omar had strengths in, and that together they made one human. So I thought that was pretty cool. The challenge for tonight was the blindfold, where you have one of the tribe members up on a pedestal and they call out to you, and you're blindfolded, tethered together with one person, and you have to go out through this maze and you have to find different puzzle pieces. Then you have to bring them all back, and then their caller would have to lead them back through the obstacle course over to the puzzle board and have them put the puzzle together blindfolded with the caller's instructions. It was a hot mess. Everybody was hollering, including Jeff. Like, Jeff, why would you just keep hollering when you know this is a challenge for them to be trying to listen? It's just another aspect of making it harder. But Jonathan, he started changing his voice like halfway through it, and his voice got like really deep. He was trying to make it distinctive. It was a hot mess all the way to the end of it. They were hitting private parts. They were bumping heads. They were getting tied up in ropes. It was just a hot mess. Vati and Ikea end up winning immunity and fishing equipment. Taku loses and goes to tribal. And as far as Daniel not activating his idol, it wouldn't have made any difference because the other two tribes haven't found theirs anyway. So right now on this particular episode, it wouldn't have mattered. So we go to tribal council. And it's down to Mariah and Marianne. I love Marianne so much. She is the best and she has the greatest heart. However, I can see being on a tribe with her for very long. It would probably get on my nerves. I'm not going to lie. But she's so positive and so upbeat and naive when it comes to the game. And I think that she has won a spot in everyone's heart on her tribe. They were saying it was coming down to Marianne or Mariah. I don't think Marianne was even a consideration. I think everybody knew that it was going to be Mariah. But they had to give two names, you know, to kind of toss back and forth. Mariah played her shot in the dark, and she did not get safety, and she was the one voted out tonight. Now let's talk about the scenes for next week. I don't normally watch them. I normally just fast forward through them. But for some reason tonight I didn't. And it shows Mike and Daniel. And it shows Mike telling Daniel that he gave the idol to him. And Daniel saying, no, you didn't give it to me. He said, are you sure you didn't hide it again? And Mike's, no, I gave it all to you. And Daniel's like, no, you didn't give it to me. So, has Daniel found a way to get his hands on the idol that actually belongs to Mike? and is maybe keeping it from him so he doesn't activate it? Or keeping it for himself? What happens if Mike's voted out? If Daniel is in possession of it, does it automatically become his? Or would Survivor let that happen? Tell me what you think in the comments. Do you think Survivor would actually basically let someone steal an idol? Because that's what it would be. It would be stealing an idol. Would they actually let them do that? I don't know. I can't ever think of a time. Now, I know last year Shan and Ricard went back and forth over the one that they had, the advantage that they had. And Shan didn't want to give it back to Ricard, and Ricard didn't want to give it back to Shan, and it went back and forth and back and forth. So I'm just wondering. I can't wait to see next week's now to see if Daniel actually took it or if Mike actually lost it. I swear I feel like I'm watching Larry, Moe, and Curly. And for those of you who don't get that reference, I'm really old. It's just watching this, I'm like, what in the hell is going on? And how did you ever get on this show? Tell me what you think in the comments about tonight's episode. What struck you as funny? What made you go, I can't wait to see next week now. Well, guys and gals, that's all I have for y'all tonight. And until next time, as always, much love.